Hey, this is Scott on Two Wheels. If you're new to my channel, I'm a motorcycle enthusiast, a solo motorcycle camper. I also do videos on motorcycle maintenance and repairs, and today I'm going to walk you through an ABS control module bypass kit for my 04 BMW K1200 GT. It's a known issue. It's a problem that I've had with these bikes. Basically, it bypasses the control module with brake lines, and then we bleed it out as a regular brake job. So this bypass kit is for all the Flying Brick K bikes. The GTs and the RSs only went until 04. The LTs continued on until like 08, I think, or 09. But out of the 3 BMWs that I currently own, it is hands down my favorite bike to ride. So I want to get it back on the road. It's been too long. So we're going to go ahead and replace this. I've already taken all the body work off because I was going to be doing this anyway. And here's the ABS control module, the electronic part, which I've taken apart on this old one that I replaced, because this controls the brake lights, the speedometer, so this part has to stay in the bike. Yeah, this is the bypass kit, and I picked this up from Kirk's Motor Rad shop. He's in Illinois somewhere. I found him on YouTube. He's a guru for the K-bikes. He went to Spiegler and they designed the kits. So I'll leave his link in the description because you have to go through him in order to get these kits. But I'm excited to just get this bike back on the road. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting access to the front brake line. Here, 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 to here. So I'm taking all the wire ties off. So get this out of the way. And we're going to replace this line and the other line over here on the other side. This line here off the rear caliper to the rear master. Take it out, take it apart here. Make sure you have plenty of rags because you're going to be leaking brake fluid all over the place. I'm going to take the windscreen off. I don't want to risk getting any brake fluid on it. Because I want to take off the cap here, suck the old fluid out. We got a 6mm Allen over here. So we want to keep the banjo fitting, obviously, but we're going to get rid of the crush washers because there's new ones in the kit. Then we got to take this off here and this off here. So we're going to take this right out of here. And this will allow us to have a little bit wiggle room here. But this will allow me to get to this banjo fitting. I just need to find an open end for that, which looks like maybe a 17. Yeah, okay, so we'll put that on there. Put this on here. Again, we want to keep the banjo fitting, although I don't know if we need this one, but I'm just going to stick it back in there. These are all connected to this junction block. So I got to take that off here. Oh yeah, there we go. Hang a towel here. Just gonna take the banjo off here. Okay. And then we just have to take this off. 10mm that right off, like that. Just gonna stick this back on here to keep it where it needs to be. All right, so left side. So let's go over here and take some wrenches and see what we got over there. Turn this way. It's 14. All right, so we're gonna take this off here. There we go. So that's off there. Take this banjo fitting off here. So that doesn't get reused. So open up the kit here. So we got our 3-way and our crush washers and some other stuff in here. I'm not really sure what that is. And then we have our 4 lines. This is for the front master. That's for the rear, front, and then the 2 front wheels. So I'm just going to go ahead and work in reverse. Put this back together here. It's pretty self-explanatory where they go. Grab some fresh crush washers here. And it kind of sits in. I don't know if you can see, it kind of sits in this little notch here, and that keeps it from rotating when you try to tighten it up. I'm just going to get it started so it kind of holds it in place. It goes like that, then this gets zipped here so this stays out from the wheel. Clean that off right there, that seat area. This doesn't want to start. There we go. I've been doing this for so long. There. You can feel when the crush washer crushes. So before I tighten this up, I'm going to get it installed on the other side so the hard line is in the right place. So this is going to sit in there like this, because then this goes to the front master and this goes to the wheel. And again, I'm just going to clean my seated areas here, make sure there's no grime between the crush washer and the seat. And again, this sits in there so it rests up against this stop. Like that. This will go in there. Sometimes with these hard lines, it's tricky to get it all lined up so the threads start. And then this goes on there, like so. I think I'm safe to just get this on there, get this started, get that there. I gotta zip all this stuff back in, but I'll tighten everything up once I get this all lined up properly. So I got that on, so let me tighten this banjo fitting here. All right, so far so good. And we'll get another wrench on here. I don't like that at all. Okay. And then we'll go to the other side. So I need my 14 and my 11. Okay. So then we got to get the front line on, which is this one right here. This will go from there up to the master. This thing, I might route it down there behind that bracket, if I could. And then down this way. The one tool that I really like for doing this kind of stuff when you kind of need 3 hands is it's a 1/4 inch nut driver on a screwdriver handle. That allows me to apply pressure and get this started because the angles give you a little bit of a fit here, because then you can use that as leverage to get this up in there and get this started. There we go. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to tighten that down yet because I got to figure out the routing first. I'm going to take it out here. Maybe that's the best way. Yeah. Because I think this is going to have to be the right way. Let's see if I like that. It actually works quite well. It doesn't bind at all. I got a little bit of play here, but it's not going to get into the shock at all. I'll show you what I did. As much. So there's this bracket right there. It's part of like the front console support with the windshield motor. It's this bracket right here. So I ran it down through that. I ran it down through that bracket behind the wiring loom and then into my junction block here. Okay. I had to back this out a little bit to make room to get this started. I don't like the way that's so tight. But I actually like where this is now because this has a little bit of room to move back and forth, but it's not interfering with anything else. So I actually like that. Because before it just went to there, and then it went out from here down to there. I think that'll work well. I think I'm going to take this stuff right out. Once I get the ABS module out, I'm going to take these lines off. But yeah, I like that a lot. I'm going to keep that right there. So I'm going to tighten this up. All right. Let's move on to the rear. Make some room to work. So it goes into the master, out of the master to the ABS unit, out of the ABS unit into here to the rear brake caliper. And then this is a return hose. Remember now, he just ran a tube around from one end to the other and just looped it, because this will still supply the rear cylinder. But these return lines to the ABS module just get looped. So I'll just use one of the pieces of hose and just loop it back and clamp it on. So this has got to go on there like that. And then this has got to go over to there. So, come on. We got to get to this one, which the footrest is in the way. So I'm just going to get this footrest out of here. I'm just going to take this off. Yeah, so I'm just going to take this bracket right off and just get this stuff out of the way. And then the line's going to go from here to there. And for this kind of stuff, when you don't have the leverage to hold it, it works very well. Now I can get to this line. So we're just going to get this line off here, and then I'm going to route the new line, and then I'm going to take the control module out. I think I want to get it on the caliper first. So on these banjo fittings, with the kit, they give you this clamp. Put it in a vise, and then you can rotate the banjo head up to 180 degrees to get lined up properly where it needs to be. I had to rotate it roughly almost 90 degrees to get it to line up where it needs to be, to keep this line inside here, because it comes off the caliper here, then it loops and then on. And this routing is actually pretty good because the rear passenger peg is going to go right here. But I want to get these lines out of here, so I'm not going to do that yet. Pull the ABS module out and button up the electrical end of it. So I'm going to take all these hard lines off. A couple pick tools to pull back these rubber boots here, like so. Just right here. So I'm just going to take these right out. Just get them out of here. All I really have to do is take this bolt out, and I can move the shock out just enough to get on that bracket. Yeah, this is a 14, and the back side is a 15. If I can lift that up just a little bit. I forgot about this. Okay. Just got to hold that final drive. It doesn't take a lot of effort, but you just want to make sure you support it. All right, groovy dude. Now I'm happy. So this is a 1/4 inch 12 point, and that fits these inverted Torx because it's all bolted up to this battery box. I found one guy who rebuilds them, and they're somewhere in Europe. I don't know if they're in Germany or Austria, I forget exactly where, but he's so backed up, he isn't taking any. I would have sent him one years ago if he was taking them, but every time I check in with him, he's not taking them. I found Kirk at Kirk Motorrad. All right, it's loose, and he was doing this bypass kit on an LT. So I emailed him and told him I wanted a kit for a GT. Sent me the kit, and I just want the bike working again. I decided that the bypass kit, and I had heard some lingerings here and there on some of the BMW forums that there was a bypass kit somewhere, and I finally tracked it down, and And now it's in. So I'm just on the back end of it now. Get the control module out, get the electrical part off, and then what Kirk did is basically wrap it in cellophane. I'm thinking I'm just going to use packing tape and tape it off so no water gets on the circuit board of it. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm just going to zip tie it down in there so it doesn't bounce around. Yeah, and then, you know, bleed everything out. I don't want to cut those lines, so I want to get these clamps off. So I'm going to shoot them with some WD and then find a socket to fit that, because I'm going to want those clamps. I'll need them to run the loop. Well, the other thing you'll need too is, if you ever decide to do this, on this part of the module, taking the electronic part off, you need a 5-point security bit. I found them on Amazon. They were like $10 for a set. It's a TS20, but it's a 5-point. But that's really, that's the one tool that is just not common. So those clamps are a 5mm. All right, and there we have it. I'll get that in the vise, and I'll take off the electronics, clean up the mess. So I'm just going to take this off, and I'm going to loop it back to there, put a clamp on it. Somebody replace this at some point. So let's see if we can get this off without breaking the stupid reservoir. Okay, groovy. And I'm just going to stick this clamp on there. All right, that'll work. You're going to need a selection of Torx, anywhere from T20 to T30. So this is the electronic part of the control module. So it just lifts off like that. And then these just pull straight up. So you have this one that was there, pull straight up, take that one out. We got to get in here and get this one, this one, this one, and that one out. And you just grab them with some needle nose pliers. They're just two-pronged, just double wired. So we're just gonna tuck this stuff down in here like so. I think that'll be all right. Because it's undercover, it just needs to get plugged into this. Like so. Okay. It actually tucked down in the case itself, in the box, down like that. I can run a zip tie across from here to here to one over here, and that'll keep this from coming up. Because this stuff just gets zip tied up in here, and the battery goes in there, and that's that. So I think I'm going to leave it there. So we got to remove the ABS relay in here. A couple screws here. And you just slide this tray out slightly, and it's the blue relay right there. And just take that out. And that's the ABS relay. It's all installed, it's all bled. I'll keep you posted on how it goes.